Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of DoubleClutch.ca magazine, and I'm joined in studio by our usual crew. We got Nathan and Imran in the studio.
Hey.
Woo! You guys can't see this, but Nathan looks like a deer in the headlights.
He's very excited for what we have this week.
Because Nathan drove a mysterious Toyota
Howdy.
product. God damn it. I was in the middle of something.
See, I got him.
You did. Every fucking time. Son of a bitch. Okay.
So
cool.
Toyota invited us out to check out the new Land Cruiser.
Holy shit, that's kind of an important car.
And it was pretty good. Imran, what are you driving this week?
Not as exciting, but from the Toyota family, a Highlander XLE all-wheel drive Nightshade edition.
Oh.
That's right.
I don't have a car this week. I'm just driving my personal car.
Pretty good.
But we do have a Mazda 650 in the garage this week, and it's kind of a rare thing because it's kind of
a basic spec.
Yeah, it's a base 650, which no, but seriously, car companies rarely do that. They rarely put actual base press cars.
They're always decked, or like decked minus engine sort of thing, like the CX-30 had last week.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of cool to see, this
is what the rubes are buying.
Exactly, it's
the plebeians.
It's what people actually buy.
Yeah,
Hyundai loves to do that. We've got a lot of Hyundai does a lot of
does do that. They'll do a lot of Elantra preferred plus tech pack.
Yeah.
It's not super base.
It's not super base though. No, it's not.
So this CX-50 is pretty base.
It is no options.
Seem like it.
It's a base GSL.
That's the thing. It comes pretty comprehensively equipped out of the box.
But we shall discuss that later.
Indeed, we shall.
Let's lead off with the Land Cruiser, eh?
It's pretty good. What do you guys want to talk about?
now onto the Highlander.
All right. It's not as great. All right.
Okay.
Does it look as cool in person as it does in photos?
No.
Really?
That looks way cooler.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
You got me. I was about to be disappointed.
Okay, I walked up to this thing this is badass. And I sent that message to you, first impression, because I was just rolling up and you sent me the message about grabbing a couple Insta photos for it.
Yeah.
First impression, this thing is sick.
So this was, refresh my memory, it was a circular headlight design? Or
circular headlight.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone through all the press materials yet, so I'm not 100% up to speed on trim levels and pricing and stuff.
Right.
From what I can glean, so there is, as we discussed way long ago when Toyota announced this thing, you had the option of doing the round retro style headlights, or the more rectangular modern-y headlights. Either way, it doesn't change the shape of the truck. It still looks like an old school brick.
Yeah.
And it's very much in the same vein as the military-ish tough chic shit, like the Wrangler, like the Bronco, like the Defender, and the G-Wagon. And it's actually, the one I had was a first edition. So first edition is one of 290 for Canada.
Oh, that's it.
And they are all decked, loaded with the retro style lights. I think the only other one that gets the retro round lights are at the base 1958 edition. And then the two or three middle ones get the rectangulars. From what I can gather, don't hold me to it. I just kind of skimmed the nose today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is based on trim level, which face you're getting. So.
As far as I can tell. So as you guys know, and the audience doesn't know this, but I'm going to tell you now, most of how we get our information on our press cars doesn't come from the manufacturers. It just comes from us fucking around on the builder on their websites. That's how we kind of price things out and figure out what comes with what.
Yeah, for new shit, car companies do usually send out their press materials and press releases.
For a brand new vehicle, if it's a first drive, they'll send out a little press docket. But for 90% of applications, we're just kind of figuring out ourselves on the builder.
Yeah.
And the builder is very good for this trim comes with this comes with this, but you can get an option for this much on these, and right? So I don't know how the lighting works. So far as I can tell, it's on the bottom and top.
Well, the lighting's pretty simple. The lights turn on and they light up the road ahead.
He's not a dad, guys. The dad jokes are plentiful.
LEDs, magic. How do they work? Anyway, the thing looks great. It's the same. It's basically, and I don't want to reduce it, but it's on the same Tinga F truck architecture as
Dinga.
the Tacoma and the Tundra and the Lexus GX 450, 550.
550.
And
Okay. Are the Forerunners on a separate platform?
also the new, like the upcoming Forerunner is
yeah,
on
the
the
same
same
one.
on the
platform.
same thing
Yeah,
as
the same
well?
platform.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it's a fancy Tacoma.
They are really splitting hairs here between the Forerunner, the Land Cruiser, and the GX. They're really splitting hairs here.
I like mechanically maybe,
Yeah.
but not in a bad way because like as we've discussed already ad nauseum, like it's the same iForce Max powertrain, the same 2.4 Turbo 4 with the
Right.
hybrid assist. It's excellent. In this application, I was doing like 13 liters per 100
It's pretty good for a brick.
in a large off-road brick.
Yeah.
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 That was meaningfully quick and smooth and all the stuff we already like about this powertrain. There was another thing I was going to say about it and I don't recall. Oh, right. It feels like meaningfully different than the Tacoma. It feels a lot more
cool.
like truckier, tougher, bigger
Yeah.
than the Tacoma.
Okay.
Like
As it should.
as it should.
Yeah.
So like the steering's, it has like that classic truck kind of like slower, a little more like ponderous, but not imprecise. It just feels like
Yeah.
kind of like that. Like they've sort of built some of that in, so it feels like bigger, truckier.
Okay.
Kind of like the Yukon Denali a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't.
And,
I've
and that was
driven
like
Land Cruiser,
super trucky, but
Yes.
like it still felt responsive.
Oh,
and
in that sense, yeah.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
and that's all fresh in my head because I literally just packaged Imran.
Yeah, but I also know that truck, like that truck's also like very featherweight steering. Pretty light steering.
On the Yukon?
Yeah.
Compared to its size? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
pretty light. This does not feel like it has like some deliberate heft built into it.
Okay.
So yeah, like it captures like, you know, the tough truck essence that you want, right? It doesn't drive like an easy breezy luxury truck. It drives kind of like a tough military chic thing that it is.
And is it more capable than its siblings? Is it meant to be? Like, and this is a part that kind of gets me a little bit. And I know the Forerunner is obviously sticking around. Land Cruiser's here.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, like, it's a little bit, I guess, down market from prior generations that haven't been here. Like, it's...
Yeah, so like Toyota canned the Land Cruiser in Canada in 96.
Uh-huh.
And they just canned it in the States in like 21.
Right.
Because it was always a separate thing. It shared almost no parts with existing Toyota products, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more expensive and encroaching more and more on Lexus products without being a Lexus
Right.
product. And there was always kind of a why,
Yeah.
right? So they killed it off, brought it back, and kind of reset it. So now basically it's an FJ Cruiser. It's kind of a tacit admission that the FJ Cruiser was like a little too ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that didn't work then.
Yeah.
Now it's going to work. Let's do this, right? So it has the same kind of like retro style. Like the one I had has round lights and a white roof.
Right.
And it's offered in fun colors and is like kind of a chunky off-roady design with like really sharp like approach breakover departure angles from
Yeah.
little bumpers and no overhangs
That
that
is-
you would want on an off-roady rig.
That's literally a four-door Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
Well,
Or four-door FJ.
sorry.
The FJ was the FJ
FJ.
was only a four-door.
Suicide, a conventional four-door. The
Right.
FJ was had
right.
the rear suicide doors, like
Yeah.
an RX-8.
Yeah. So either way, this is kind of a continuation of that. It's now mid-size. They start at 69 grand.
Nice.
I don't know if that's with or without destination and shit. You kids are you kids. Yeah, it starts at 69 as opposed to well over 100 for the last one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was a huge vehicle
Yeah.
and it was expensive. It was
Yeah.
like, you know, the
Yeah.
Lexus LX TX LX
Yeah,
600.
LX,
Just
yeah, yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like it was huge and priced accordingly. So this shrinks it, gives it the retro tough styling that makes it
Yeah.
very distinct. That makes it very fucking cool. The one that I was driving today, being a first edition, being a limited run, being loaded, all first editions are decked with absolutely every option you can get in a Toyota product, was $90,000.
That's not cheap.
It's not cheap, but it's not brutal. So I was looking this up. So like it's roughly in line with like a top SKU Wrangler and Bronco.
Okay.
And like almost dead nuts even with a Defender 110 base.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shit.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. So it starts at 69. The one I had was 90, being that it's a limited edition and stuff. One you would actually want, so like base plus, you know, basic amenities and
Yeah.
shit, is about 80. And that is right where a Defender 110
110.
with the 4-cylinder starts.
And-
And they're very comparable.
And for the Land Cruiser, is it I think you said this, it's a singular powertrain no matter what trim you get?
I think so.
Yeah.
I just got back a couple hours ago. I haven't gone through all the notes yet. I'm pretty sure, don't hold me to it, I'm pretty sure they're all the iForce Max powertrain, like with the hybrid assist.
Right.
Either way, like all 2.4 turbo.
Yeah.
And maybe the upper ones have the hybrid. I honestly don't know. I think Nick's looking it up right now.
I'm looking up pricing for the GX550 because it seems like there's a bit of overlap, actually. A base GX, no option, starts at like mid-80s. So there's a bit of overlap.
Yeah.
But then again, that's for a base GX 550 with like zero options.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
but I mean, like, it's a Lexus. It's going to be...
Yeah.
It's not going to have nothing on it.
And that's the thing. I think, there's an overlap, but realistically speaking, people are probably not getting a base GX.
Probably not.
And would probably lean towards basis Land Cruiser, and maybe that's what separates things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GX also gets the V6 out of the Tundra.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another big point of distinction.
The biggest point of distinction.
Yeah.
To circle back around to your earlier point about like capability differences, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I would assume that like the Landy is comparable to like a Tacoma TRD Pro sort of thing. So it has so the one I had like electronic locking differentials and a disconnecting sway bar and hill assist and terrain modes and like, all the shit you would expect. And skid plates, like all the things you would expect to look for. And I took it into some fields to get some cool lifestyle-y photos, and it did perfectly fine. It just shrugged everything off. It did not give a single iota of shit.
Nice.
And like it was raining, it was in deep mud. I thought it was like actually kind of stuck for a second. I'm like, oh wait, it's in too high. We're good.
Nice.
That's awesome.
4 high lock diffs gone by like nothing.
Sick.
Yeah.
I mean it looks awesome.
It looks fantastic. It looks great. It drives really well. It's surprisingly quiet for how bricky its shape is.
It is, yeah.
It handles surprisingly well for how like bricky its shape is. It's well controlled, pretty flat. Touch on the firm side, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. I just remember like seeing the photos when it first it came out and was blown away, like most people. Like this is a good looking truck. And then I think the GX550 came after. Or I forget which order it was.
Very shortly thereafter,
Yeah, regardless, it was, again, you're like, holy shit, that's nice.
Yeah.
And now the Forerunner, and again, I'm like, holy shit, that's nice.
Yeah,
right?
Twitter's on a roll lately, man.
Yep.
Yeah, like all of them are, and they look different enough.
Yeah.
Especially the Forerunner compared to the GX and the Land Cruiser.
Yes, but
they look fantastic.
Considering how similar they are and how much you're splitting hairs on paper. And I mean, well, I'm taking Nathan's word for it in that it does feel appreciably different than, well, it would feel appreciably different than the Taco and its very close and its very closely related siblings. But they all do look like they all have their own unique look to them, despite like splitting hairs.
Yeah, they have their own identity.
Yeah.
Despite being mechanically quite similar. They're like calibrated quite differently.
That's
like the Z4 and the Supra. Like, they're the same, but they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same but different.
Yeah. I really liked it. And like in that realm of like a Bronco, a Wrangler. So like the Wrangler's on-road manners are leave a bit to be desired.
Yeah, we can put it that way.
Yep. The Bronco I am a big fan of. That's like kind of tough, but it's also like way chunkier. Like it looks way tougher, but it also drives way tougher and not in the best ways. It's way louder. It's way worse on gas.
Okay, not as refined.
Not nearly as refined.
It's a little more comfortable than a Wrangler.
A lot more than a Wrangler, but not even close to this Landy.
Yeah.
Its closest competitor is a Defender, which is kind of a crazy thing to say
very
about
surprising.
like a Toyota product, right? It's actually like in that realm of like a luxury niche sort of product where it has that style, it has that presence, it has the kind of cachet, and like on paper, not only on paper, but on paper and like in the driving experience, they're quite similar, and they're like pretty neck and neck in pricing.
I'm surprised,
and I would say like the Landy probably has like, I don't know this, I have nothing to substantiate it, but I think it's a safe estimate that the Land Cruiser will have lower operating costs and better resale. I don't think that's a stretch to say.
Probably not.
I'd put my money there.
I'd buy that.
Yeah. Now, if you want something like, that's kind of the thing, right? If you want something like with a burlier engine, you could do the Lexus GX that has the V6.
Right.
Or get one of the angrier engine Defenders. And at that point, that changes the equation a bit because I love the V8 in that thing, but then you're paying to run the V8, right? So like, what do you want it to do?
I had a Defender 130 with the 6.
With the 6,
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It's a delicious engine by all accounts. It's so creamy smooth, and like it's well matched to the Defender's weight. Like it doesn't feel slow by any means.
Yeah, it was definitely like a Goldilocks just right thing. Like it was the appropriate amount. I'm sure the V8 is delicious, but
buddy.
It felt I wasn't feeling like wanting for power.
Yeah.
With this Land Cruiser,
It's quick. It moves along like you want nothing.
Yeah, you're not like
I don't. At least at a glance, in the short time I spent with it today, I don't see a strong case for the V6.
Right.
It's not like it's not a ton smoother. It sounds a little more brawny, but like it's not like a different league. It's just like a bigger version of the same thing. It's a turbo hybrid, just more.
Okay, is the GX bigger?
I think they're the same size, but because of the same platform, they can just kind of shoehorn it in harder.
Right.
I think. Don't hold me to it. But yeah, I really like the Land Cruiser. I think it does that, lifestyle, chic, off-road thing well. But being that it's a Toyota, like it's the sort of thing you can trust to be a practical daily. Like, it's Toyota's infotainment. It works really well. There's lots of storage space. There's a ton, because it's 2-row only, they haven't bothered with a 3-row. Those 2 rows have lots of room, and then there's a pile of cargo room behind it.
Yeah.
With lots of like storage nooks in that cargo space as well.
Is the GX a 3-row?
I don't know.
I'm going to assume yes.
I know the 4Runner is like still an optional 3rd row. So that's another point of distinction, the fact that the 4Runner gets an optional 3rd row, but the Land Cruiser doesn't.
And Toyota also has the Sequoia too, right? If you want a big boy SUV, they got that.
Yeah, I feel like the Land Cruiser is going to stay as like a 5-seater.
Yeah, it'll stay a 5-seater, and I think it works well in that space because because they're not trying to jam a 3rd row into it, nothing's compromised.
Yeah.
And like it's the kind of like thing where you can drive every day, and it can be a practical, dependable, efficient daily that also can double as a toy and has the style and charm and like capability of a toy.
Yeah.
I think like for the target they were trying to hit, like they crushed it.
Oh, I feel like they're going to sell a ton of these.
For sure.
They'll sell as many as they can make.
Yeah. I believe it.
100%. Like a lot of fun, really cool thing. Like, and it's the sort of thing like I instantly liked. I didn't have to warm up to it. I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'd have one of these.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
All right. Although with all of their home runs recently, you get to see it in the flesh, but I feel like the 4Runner is speaking to me more than any of the other ones.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to see like where they're priced at when they show up,
For sure.
right? And like put them next to each other. Because like, yeah, they are similar.
Yeah,
I think I take the Landy personally because it's, old timey and I like that shit.
I mean, I'm just going by superficial looks as well. I just like how beefy the new 4Runner
It does look like chunky beefy.
photos.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
In like that Trail Hunter spec.
I feel like as superficial as this sounds, I feel like I'm Camp Land Cruiser purely
On looks?
based on the round headlights alone. Because they're so
That's
cool. They're sick.
All
They
of
are-
the best
they
looking
are
cars
cool.
in history have round headlights.
This
Every single one.
This is unequivocally true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Volkswagen Beetle.
Volkswagen Beetle. Basically every golden era BMW.
And a Miata.
Every
Round
golden era
Papas.
Mercedes.
There you
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
cool.
not wrong.
I liked it. I'm looking forward to checking one out. I would love to spend some time with the Lexus counterpart and
Yeah.
see like how
Yeah.
different they are. Because that could be a fascinating product potentially.
Yeah, it would be great to get our hands on them hopefully soon enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of overly cramped 3rd rows, Imran, what are you driving this week?
great intro to the...
You really need to work on the fucking segues around here. Holy shit.
We have another Toyota product, the Highlander XLE all-wheel drive Nightshade edition.
Is it grand?
It is not grand.
No.
Why not?
This is only so grand
A Highlander
some
can
black
get.
paint can be on wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not the Grand Highlander.
Maybe let's pause for a second. Let's back up. So, for those who aren't intimately familiar with Toyota's product portfolio, Toyota has the Highlander, which they've been making for many years, and this generation's been around for 5 or 6, I think. It's getting a little longish in the tooth.
Yes, it is.
And it feels like it. And it's like kind of a smaller 3-row, whereas the Grand Highlander is brand new, has almost nothing to do with this, and is much bigger, boxier, and we love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
This one, we stuffed Nick in the back of it and clearly could use the Grand treatment because those third rows are not made for humans.
Reasonably sized adults.
Yeah, they're like puppy sized.
Yeah, I made these same noises getting into and out of the third row of the non-Grand Highlander as I do into my Miata, which is to say,
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's not just me.
Yeah, you can tell they just tried to stuff it in there. Like even like the seats even look like paper thin back there.
Oh yeah, they're just a little like it's just a little like bench in a pinch.
Yeah, and it's like if you want to fool someone that you have a 7-seater, we did it.
It's so they could say they have a third row, and also like with those that third row up, like you have no cargo space.
Oh no, not at all.
like I'm sure it was passable when it first debuted, like
12 years ago.
However many years
long
ago.
it was.
But it is getting to the point where even the most basic 3 rows like the Honda Pilot, the Mazda CX-90, they all have legitimately spacious third rows. Even the new Santa Fe, despite starting out as like ostensibly a 5-seat SUV with the third row cramped back there, even that's roomier than a new Highlander. It feels roomier than the Highlander.
Everyone in that segment has stepped their game up so hard.
Yeah.
This thing's probably going to go through the Toyota update that seemingly every other product.
It's probably going to, and also like it stands to mention that like the Highlander is a good chunk cheaper than a lot of its competition.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
So this version, like when I started driving it, it has the 2.5 liter hybrid powertrain, non-turbo. The first thing I noticed is that it's like it feels slow as heck, and I mean appreciably so, not just for an automotive journalist. Like I was on the highway and I looked down and I was doing like 90. But like it just like muscle memory was telling me that I was at highway speed,
you told your angle this much for this much speed.
Yeah,
I just hope to God you weren't in the left lane.
I was not, and yeah, it just felt, and then to crest it over 100 as we sometimes do, it just felt like it didn't want to be there.
Yeah,
and I instantly thought of the CX-90. Yes, I had like the PHEV, which is about $5,000 more expensive than this thing, in similar trim.
You also had the base CX-90 GSL.
Yes,
it's the entry level model.
Oh, so you had a base and the PHEV.
So no, it was a GSL PHEV.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That one is I actually didn't check the price on that one. I checked the GT, that's about $5,000 more. So the GSL is probably similar pricing,
and that feels vastly nicer inside than this Highlander.
So I think it looks better.
Oh yeah,
I think it's better optioned.
Oh yeah,
more modern tech, more spacious interior. Yep. I can't think of why you would take this over that CX-90 PHEV. Like I actually can't think of a singular reason as to why you would. I think almost everything is better in that CX-90.
Yeah.
And I think it has something to do with, it's not a knock on Toyota, to be honest. It has something to do with like the life cycle update cycle or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like
it's just like long in the tooth. I think we've all liked pretty much every Toyota product we've had in the last year, except that one.
Yeah.
Like I had a Sport last year, and like I honestly struggled to write that review politely. John had a hybrid last year, and like I shot it, and it was like better. That was a limited hybrid,
Right.
so like green on tan, like kind of a nicer spec.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
spec. It was meme spec, but it was fucking fine. It suits the application, and like that was fine, but still like okay. And then yours is like all right, like
Yeah,
everything
it's
else
like-
they're doing is great because like everything else they're doing is new. This is not that.
Yeah, it just feels like they're trying to extend the life of this thing, like it's on life support a little bit. It's like cement gray, and the Nightshade package is as sorry of an effort as they could do for any sort of special package. It's like black door handles, and the wheels are still 18 inches. They're just black, and they look like winter wheels. And
But do you have black badges?
oh yeah, I do.
Oh,
Black hybrid
buddy.
badges, because it still has a little blue
Nice.
thing going on, which I thought Toyota was ditching for their hybrids. I thought they went to that circle.
Yeah, there's still a blue circle.
No, I know, but like not within the actual Toyota symbol anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
I can't remember.
It's probably got to be black now, so people know you're a bad bitch.
Yeah.
I think it's that.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
right. That's right. And not black, not noir like Mitsubishi. It's the Nightshade.
But like,
Well, Nissan's
They're
doing
still-
that too. They got the Midnight Edition stuff.
Midnight?
That's also all cement gray on like black handles, black trim, black wheels.
that was your first press car, the Murano.
That was my
Cabriolet?
no, my first. No, it was my third press car.
Oh, okay.
My first was a Rogue, which you gave to me as a meme, and I liked it. So
Yes.
jokes on you fools.
Ha.
And then I had a Venza, and then I had a Murano Nightshade.
Oh, you had
Murano Midnight.
Nightshade
Midnight
is
Edition.
Toyota.
That's right.
Get your
Yeah.
facts right, Nathan.
Forgive me for fucking mixing up the cement gray crossovers with black trim.
With black door handles.
Yeah, and I had mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, yeah. But honestly, like it's fine. But there's better options out there. It's just
It's hard to like pick out who this is for because like on one hand, if you're shopping on price, like a lot of 3-row family SUVs, they're now well over 60K. But like on the other hand, you can still get, still appreciably nice other 3-row SUVs also for under 60K. Like you can still get a Palisade and or a Telluride for like under 60.
I think you can get into one of these for like low mid 40s is the thing.
in this is one of those situations where like if you're buying the lower trim, it's fine value wise, but once you start moving up, it doesn't make
It
sense.
stops making as much sense.
I think so. And or like how much is like a Atlas? Like the Atlas.
Don't look at me. You had the press car.
I had
You had the press
Atlas Cross though, the 5-seater.
Probably same.
But I've driven the regular version as well. And even that, like thinking back to that, just feels more premium, feels better.
Yeah,
I
it just
think.
feels a
Much
little
better
more
power.
put together, better powertrain.
Yeah, more up to date.
But like the Ascent is another it's another one of those aged, but if you shop lower in the lineup, it still has that value thing going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Ascent was cheaper in top trim than this is.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's not a hybrid.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, it didn't feel like absolutely lacking for power. Like that's not the
Yeah, 'cause
first
you
thing
still
I thought.
You still have the 2.4 turbo.
yeah.
The Brex's engine.
Yeah,
basically.
so that is just. I haven't been in a vehicle recently where the first thing I was like, "Whoa, this thing feels way underpowered," and like we obviously put things in their perspective. We don't expect a base Corolla to drive like an M series BMW. Like,
Nothing does.
Because it doesn't have a B58.
yeah, that's right. I had to tee that up because I was getting uncomfortable.
We had to get it in. We can't go like half an hour without mentioning.
That's right. But yeah. It just felt wrong, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a very underwhelming product in an otherwise pretty commendable product portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I'm sure they'll fix it. They just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm sure it's getting teed up.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And the thing is, like, if you think about it, like, it's a competitive segment.
It is.
There's a lot of options that are very similar, or just a cut above or cut below.
We also can't really talk shit about like this product so much because Toyota has a competent product in this space, a phenomenal product in this space, being the Grand Highlander.
Yeah.
So like they threw their R&D money into that, and they're just kind of carrying this through because a lot of fleets are buying this.
Oh, yeah.
I see a lot of Highlander airport limos, like a ton.
Yeah,
That
that's
could
true.
be what's keeping this thing alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine literally a couple weeks after this podcast is released, we're going to see some notice about the new Highlander coming.
Yeah. Or they'll just can it and then freight with the Grand Highlander.
You think so?
Quite possibly.
But like at the same time, I've still seen Grand Highlanders being used as airport limos now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have more presence and style and they look badasser because they're blockier and that's what everyone's buying now. Like, I think like the Grand Highlander just like completely supersedes this.
Yeah.
Which, but it still is a plant for this. It's still running. They still have an assembly line. The tooling's paid off. Fuck it. They're still selling. Keep making them.
Keep going. Yeah, but do you think they would can it? I don't know.
Well, they...
I mean,
like, what do you
still
do?
Have, they still have the Venza.
Well, I think
that's being canned.
That's getting
Is
canned.
it?
Yeah, the
it's-
Venza's getting
okay.
canned.
It's being replaced
That
by the
makes
Crown
sense.
Signia.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Makes a little more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so they might do something else with that line because I don't know. I don't see the function of having a Highlander and a Grand Highlander, especially when they have like the RAV4, which is also due and probably going to get bigger on its next refresh.
Yeah, but that's 5-seater.
That is a 5, yeah. But like,
Yeah.
if you want a 7, they got you. They get a Grand Highlander.
Highlander,
Get a Grand Highlander.
Do you know what those are priced at?
A Grandy or a RAV?
The Grand.
I think they started like mid-50s.
Okay, so there's like significant price overlap as well.
Overlap, but like they start higher.
A little higher, yeah.
Yeah, I think they start like 10 higher.
So you can't get one for like mid to high 40s.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Is that the one you had like
That's the
a
white
couple
one I
months
had.
ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
Okay, I remember taking that for a spin.
Yeah, and it was terrific.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
But that uses it's a different powertrain. It's the 2.4.
It's the
turbo
2.4
hybrid, right?
turbo with the optional hybrid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that felt great.
That felt fantastic. And even then, like the regular 2.4 is like still pretty good.
Yeah. Although significantly bigger.
Quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like a lot bigger. But
yeah.
that's where the market's going. If you want a 3-row, get the big one. No one wants a little 3-row.
Yeah.
Like they're all getting bigger. The Highlander is by far the smallest one. And to a point where I think it kind of defeats its own purpose.
Yeah, I guess so. But the Grand Highlander felt like big.
That's
like
what people are buying.
Yeah, but it felt like bigger than CX-90.
Because it is.
Because it is. It's bigger, floatier, kind of like it's the sort of thing is like, let's not even try to do the sporty thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just make big, comfy boat, and it crushes it.
And I think that's the comment I had made prior to driving the Yukon, is that I feel like it felt like what a Yukon would feel like, and I hadn't driven a Yukon yet.
Yeah.
But that was my, it just feels big trucky.
Yeah.
The Highlander doesn't feel big trucky.
No,
the regular
it feels
one.
like a car.
Yeah, very much so. But I feel like there's still like a market there.
I guess that's right.
Like I don't not see the point.
Others.
I don't not see the point of this thing still existing, especially if you can get like a lower-ish spec trim level for like under 50.
It's like,
yeah, but what are you going to do with those seats? They're useless. Like, I don't know who. Okay.
yeah, no, realistically, just get a
really
Sienna.
fucking
Like if that's
Yeah, exactly.
because it's essentially for people who, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but it's for people who want a minivan but don't want a minivan.
3-row SUVs aren't cool.
Literally what it is.
They apparently are. That's why they're outselling minivans, even though minivans are so much better. So much better. I will die on that hill. If you just need to move people and their shit, a minivan is 15 out of 10 perfect.
Also, I'd argue the Sienna looks a little cooler than this Highlander does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're not like in the grander perception. Minivans are lame. That's why like hardly anyone buys them, but for their application, they're perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Someone needs to make a cool minivan. Like
Toyota's in Japan.
Oh, that like Super Luxo one?
Yeah.
Yeah, or like just add some kind of performance to one. Just you did it with SUVs. Like make it happen with minivans.
Are you saying you want a GR Sienna?
Yeah.
Because that would be sick.
Yo.
That would be fucking sick.
Hey, at some point we were like laughing at the notion of performance SUVs.
Yeah.
Right? Like at some point we would have been laughing at whenever that was. And so, and they made it happen, and all of a sudden it's dime a dozen everywhere you look. There's a sport.
Yeah, but that's because SUVs are perceived as cool, and therefore a sport SUV can also be cool. No one perceives minivans as cool, tragically.
Yeah, That's probably right.
Yeah.
Someone needs to buck that trend.
Make a really
Do
cool
it.
van.
GR Sienna.
Make it
GR
happen,
Sienna.
Toyota.
Let's see that happen.
GR Sienna, let's go. What else we got in the garage this week?
I have an idea off the cue cards. Nick, how are we doing for time?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Got about like 20 minutes left.
Did you drive? You drove the new toy at the office this week?
So what?
The Infiniti?
The new old toy?
Oh.
Did you drive it?
Yes.
Imran, did you drive it?
Heck yeah.
Let's talk about that.
All
This
right.
week, a good friend of ours purchased a bring a trailer spec, super clean 04?
04
Infiniti G35 Coupe
Yeah.
with the Brembo brakes and the 6-speed stick. And this is a vehicle that we have discussed on this podcast, I believe, on a few occasions, because some of us are big fans and some of us are not.
Spoiler alert, Nathan's not the big fan.
I am not a big fan,
Nope.
but I had never driven one or the Nissan 350Z upon which it shares a platform. So it was interesting to actually check that out and evaluate it in the flesh and kind of separate it, especially this very clean, low mile, beautifully kept example. It's you guys know, I don't have to tell you, G35s, every single one is clapped.
Yes.
They are clapped and driven by fucking dolts. Every single one. So to see one, or as you eloquently put it last week, a waste man's.
Yeah.
Look at this waste you driving this piece of shit.
To be honest, transparently, the terminology I used was fucktard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I went to waste man's, which I loved.
Thank you for the very important distinction. I appreciate the clarification.
We're wordsmiths here.
We all associate, we unfortunately associate cars with, the people who drive them. And the G35 has an unfortunately very negative connotation.
It is really unfortunate because when those came out, those were the hot fucking shit.
Yeah, they were for someone who had, let's say, middling dreams, that was it. Hey,
Middling dreams.
no Italian, no port. It was the G35, man.
Oh, dude.
If you could get there a 350Z maybe, and if you're really baller, you would upgrade to the G35, right?
I'm just trying to picture this guy. So because this car came with all its books, all its service history, the original invoice. The original guy who bought this car, Brian, paid $61,000 for this thing. We have a copy of the bank draft.
In 04.
In 04 money. So that's $2 million today.
Yeah.
And I don't get the math. It's I want one of them 350Zs, but I want it more bulbous. Can we do that?
Back seats? Why a lot of people get 911s, right? They want a sports car with back seats.
Yeah, but 911s have back seats.
911 doesn't have back seats. It does, but it doesn't.
Same with the G35. It does, but it doesn't.
Yeah. I don't know. Nick, you used to own one of these things.
I did. And I hate it now.
Really?
Was yours auto or manual?
My own stick.
Okay.
Context. Mine was...
Oh, you had a rev-up oil burner too, right?
They all burn oil, dude.
DQ.
Ask me how I know. So mine was an 05, just before the refresh. So mine had the good wheels, the raised wheels.
I think the wheels are the only thing I like about this thing.
This particular one.
Yeah, I like the 7 spokes. They look nice.
I don't like them. I prefer the race.
The raised, awesome.
6-speed stick. It had the rev-up engine, which burned more oil.
What was the deal with... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It burned more oil than the regular one. What was the deal with the rev-up? What made it different? Is it just higher red lavender, hotter cam
Was
sort
this
of shit?
the HR designation one? Okay.
Yes. And seal's just wearing out prematurely because of things
Very good.
baking inside the engine.
Did it make any more power, or did it just rev a little higher?
It made about 15 more horsepower.
Okay.
And a bit more torque. This 04 is about don't quote me on this, but it's about 270 horsepower. Mine was 298. So just a hair under 300 horsepower.
But significantly higher redline though, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it 7,500?
It was pretty high.
Yeah.
And I might be among the very few that actually like how these things sound stock. I will qualify that by saying a lot of aftermarket exhausts ruin the soundtrack, but stock, in my humble opinion, with Nathan vehemently disagrees, they sound pretty decent with a stock exhaust. I like it.
So I like it as well, but like I think with this one, you could be onto something. There could be a minor exhaust leak.
I
like,
think-
actually,
okay.
I'm not kidding.
So
but
that's the other thing. When I got
It's
when I
surprisingly loud.
when I
and,
got in-
and bad.
when I got into this one, I was like, this one sounded like mine when it had the exhaust leak.
okay, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there's something going on with this one.
yeah, I think your hunch is not totally off there.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like, especially for 04, like this is before cars were loud. This is before the F-Type.
Yeah.
Like manufacturers were still trying to make cars quiet. This thing is shockingly loud. And also, as an unrelated aside, bad.
No. Okay, I would disagree.
Like, I do get it because in the interest of full disclosure, I did sell my G35 about a year and a half after I bought it because I missed my Miata.
Okay, two
Miata.
different
Two very
worlds.
different things. But I mean,
though.
like the sound, because like I've only heard these cars, like the VQs, like we've all heard them like ripping down the street or whatever.
Yeah.
Even on stock exhaust, I think like standing outside the car, they sound pretty good. They got like a really distinct kind of thrum thing going on. They
Yeah.
almost sound exotic-ish, maybe kind of, if you're like not paying that much attention.
Sure.
So this is the first time I've sat in one, buddy. Not good in the car. Holy fuck! It's just like a whooshy vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, mine was definitely quieter.
Yeah, outside sounds
old one.
better than inside for sure. I'd say some of the pros. The steering was good. I thought it was pretty nice.
Okay.
I thought the clutch, no.
Okay,
I
you know
don't
what?
like the super high engagement point.
That reminds me though. Okay, actual compliment about this vehicle.
Yeah.
The shifter is fucking terrific.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Actually, so
Yeah,
good.
I think the shifter is really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought the steering was weighted nicely. I thought it was pretty good. Like handling wise, it did have like a that era BMW vibe to it.
Which is what they were going for with that thing. It's
Yeah.
basically a 3 Series.
Yeah. They tried to make a
beater.
Japanese 3 Series,
Yeah,
right?
and it's like in my humble opinion, it's about as close as Infiniti has ever gotten to like that benchmark. Because let's face it, everything after that has been not as
kind of mid.
Even with the G37,
Yeah.
I feel like they weren't. That wasn't the target.
It wasn't
anymore.
special. It wasn't
Yeah,
special.
It was. They went in a different direction.
I think like the steering could be good. Maybe this car is like a weird alignment because it feels to me, and like you, Nick, Imran, you might appreciate this having played with like track car stuff. It feels to me like it's towed in too much. Like it's way on center, and then as soon as you start, like it's heavy on center, then as soon as you start steering it off,
Yeah.
it like ramps up very unnaturally. I thought it was like really inorganic and non-linear.
It did. I did feel like a strong on center feel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't really know. Like going into the corners and stuff, I didn't really. It didn't feel odd to me.
Okay, I thought it was like really like non-linear and weird.
Yeah.
Like once you're in a corner and set up, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But like that transition, I thought personally it was just kind of weird and very artificial. It struck me like the Challenger, whereas like it's a facsimile of a performance car, but
Yeah.
all the fine details are missing.
Okay, so I agree with a little bit the facsimile of a sports car. Like I do think more like my 328 sedan than I do of like
Yeah.
a more sporty car. Like, yeah, I do get like feelings of sports sedan-ish of that era versus like,
and that's exactly
sports
what
car.
Infiniti was going for.
Yeah.
With that thing.
yeah, like, so I don't think it's like a miss.
It's also slow.
It is. Okay, so that's
Like
one thing.
Like shockingly slow.
One thing. To have like damn near 300 horsepower, is it 270 or 300? Which one is this?
270-ish in the 04.
Like, it doesn't. My 328 feels appreciably
my car's
faster.
almost 100 horsepower down on that thing, and it feels like it would blow its fucking doors
They're
off.
not like
Yeah,
cars.
like
No, I
that's-
mean my 535.
Right. No, the G35 isn't a light car.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
That's the thing.
They're
heavy.
but no way my all-wheel drive 08 328 sedan.
That's a little surprising.
Like it just feels.
Yeah, a car felt surprisingly slow, and I
It
thought,
did,
okay,
like-
maybe it's just long gearing. And I looked down, like, okay, I'm at the top of third now. Like I'm banging through, and like I'm doing 110. This is pathetic.
That's the thing. Like I was, or maybe it was just like the expectation of more. You know, maybe that's what it is. Like the with the 328, it's like I thought it'd be slow, and it feels decent.
Yeah, those German horsepower, buddy. They show up to work and work hard.
Or maybe, just maybe, this one's slow because it doesn't have the rev-up engine.
But even then, like, the advertised number indicates a certain experience, and none of us got it.
Yeah, like...
That car's slow.
Yeah,
like I expected that was the only thing that car was supposed to get right. Those VQs can move. Right? I expected it could do that.
And that's the thing, like, yeah, it didn't feel not fast. It felt slow.
Yeah.
Like it felt like
slow. It's not like, okay, it's kind of an old car, like whatever, we give it a bit of a pass. No, it felt like a dog.
No, it's like, where's the torque? And I was like, okay, like maybe, my memory's escaping me here, and it's like one of those, it's torquier higher up, like when I start revving it out.
And it is torquier higher up, but like not by much.
But it never really came. That's the thing.
It's never really on. Like maybe it like needs plugs or something. Like I don't know. This thing felt like a dog.
I mean, that could be.
Maybe it's that exhaust leak.
This is a 20-year-old car.
But like in a car that otherwise runs smooth and drives pretty well, like and isn't throwing any check engine lights, there's no misfire codes. Like I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a dog.
No.
I also thought the throttle response is super non-linear. Like you try to blip and it just revs like way too much. Like there's no way to smoothly do stuff. It's just like you give it a little kiss and it's like, whoa, look how baller I am. Like,
that's
it felt like
interesting because like I don't know if this is muscle memory, but like as soon as I got into it, I was like, okay, I everything came back to me like right away. I didn't have any issues like rev matching that car.
There was no way for me to kiss that throttle without getting 3,000 RPM out of it.
And I did feel
that wasn't my
jumpy.
experience. I don't know if that's muscle memory, but like that wasn't my experience.
And I hate that clutch. I hated it on the G37. I think it's worse on the G37, and on the 35, I didn't appreciate it either.
Yeah, like heavy, not vague, but like long. I didn't hate the clutch because it's just old car clutch. I'm used to that. It's fine. Kind of disappointing, but like fine.
But I feel like I've driven a lot of old cars, and again, this one was the first one in a very long time where I kind of like bogged it a little, messed it up.
Yeah.
And like I don't remember the last time I did that with any car, and I was just like, fucking Infiniti G's. Like I was just like, that was my thought right away. 'Cause my brother had a 37.
Yeah.
And like the one thing we both just hated about it was like the clutch. It just never felt like you could be one with it.
Okay,
and this felt like that to me.
So I was wondering about that because, like, okay, this car is 20 years old. It is old. It's been sitting around for a while. It's super low mile. Like, maybe the pressure plate's just stiff and it's just, like, really garbagey kind of take-up.
Yeah.
But if you also had a 37 that I'm going to assume is much fresher.
Oh, yeah.
And it did the same shit.
Yeah, totally.
There you go. So, yeah, it's just kind of...
Yeah,
they definitely have a boatiness to them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something I just... Maybe you got comfortable with yours. Like...
That could be it. That could very well be it. Mine was mine was 10 or 11 years old when I got rid of it. But like, you know, even then it did have that slight boatiness to it. It did have that weight to it.
Okay.
And you know, it just the novelty was fun at first, but then you realize that like even back when they were still hot shit, there's still other cars that did everything better.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to like it. I wanted to give it a pass. I wanted to be wrong. And I was more right than I could have imagined. It's just so sloppy and inorganic and bad and slow and weird. And like, it's disappointing because like, I really like the G35 sedan from the same era. I'm actually quite fond of them. I think they look really cool and I wouldn't hate having one. Now I think I would. Also, like, when those cars came out, like, the G35 sedan was beating the E46 BMW 330i in comparison tests. Like, holy shit, someone's dethroning the king. Jesus Christ, this car must be great. And now I've driven it. It's not. I don't know what the fuck they were smoking. It's so not good.
No, I don't know. At this point, I feel like as much as I'm, like, banging on it, too, like, I don't know. There's some charm there.
I feel like I feel like you and I...
But E46 is so much better.
It was, like... It's just, I guess, seeing, like, a clean version of these just feels so much more special.
I think that's it for, like, you and I, Imran, in that we're kind of looking back at this because we have those personal experiences with G35s.
Yeah,
we're
that's
kind of
why our
looking
friend
back
bought
at
it, too, because he used to have one, and so he just needs to relive that moment in his adolescence for 20 minutes.
We're all looking at this car with our rose-tinted glasses, except for Nathan.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
So fuck you, Nathan. It's fucking sweet.
No, it's not. It's really bad. Like, I will give bad cars a pass. You've seen me do this a lot.
Okay, it is pretty though.
I will say
it is in very good condition, and I don't hate the styling of a stock, well-capped G35 Coupe. Although I prefer the sedan, I think it's much tighter. The 35 really? Coupe is bulbous. I think it's too bulbous, it's too big and dumb. I think the sedan is like a really good-looking car.
I feel like they've aged extremely well, and they still look good today. By a long shot.
The sedan or the coupe? I think the coupe is aged better than the sedan.
Yes.
Nope. But whatever, you're allowed to be wrong.
No, let's go ahead and mute Nathan right now.
Fair enough. We accept all opinions here.
Okay, I just thought we should get away from crossovers for a bit because I was starting to nod off there.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's refreshing. Oh,
so let's bring it back around to the crossover. I am, at least for part of the week, driving a 2024 Mazda CX-50 GSL. It's their base spec.
Yep.
And it's fine.
Hey,
so
go ahead.
A bit of context to this. So this is the base. Yeah, this is the base CX-50. So you don't have nice things like super padded door panels. You don't have the super fancy stitching as the upper trims do. Mm-hmm. You don't have you don't have a turbo engine under the hood. You don't have all that fancy bright work inside. And yet, compared to that Outback that Rush had a few months ago,
this is so much nicer than that.
It is extremely nicer.
Yeah. So the CX-50 is a very good-looking vehicle. Like, they nailed that design. The interior design is well laid out, well thought out, practical. Like, it's attractive. Even in this base spec, it's very attractive. Especially this two-tone colorway they went with.
Yeah. I didn't think that was base. Like when you.
Yeah, it's base. This is base. And like, because when I was like drafting the CX-30 review last week and trying to figure out what to say about that.
Right.
I was looking at this because this was on my schedule. It's like, okay, well, what do I say about this that doesn't step on those toes? And it's surprisingly strong value. I think it's like 41, if my memory serves.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like it's the same 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine in every base Mazda.
Which isn't bad.
It's not bad, but it feels pretty slow here. It's not even on the same planet as fast. It's not like embarrassingly bad, but it's like, come on.
But honestly, like driving that thing felt like a kind of breath of fresh air compared to the Highlander. Like it felt like it was still the good enough power for the platform.
It's good enough. Mm-hmm. I think that platform's really well suited to the turbo. Like
really
well suited. The turbo belongs in there.
Yeah. I remember having that Meridian Edition thing, and it
was nice.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I generally like it. Good amount of space, like front and rear, lots of cargo space. It's a Mazda. Like, it drives well, it rides well. Everything like makes a lot of sense. It's ergonomically great. It's built well. I'm not sure. Okay, you guys saw this. So everyone's doing like interesting materials on like door cards and dash pads.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, Kia's doing a lot of like recycled cloth kind of stuff.
Yep.
To kind of like echo Google's industrial design theme they started with a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Mazda's gone a different direction. They're just using straight up nylon, so far as I can tell.
I didn't notice.
Like the dash pad and doors is just
that does feel a little
nylon.
weird.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like, I'm all for different materials to like spice things up visually and tactilely.
Not tactically.
No, not tactically. No.
Tactical nylon.
There's a marketing term.
This does feel. It doesn't feel nice.
I don't. It's not nice. It's the base model, but I don't hate it. I think it's more imaginative than just whatever plastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what the Outback Onyx, has. It's just like plastic.
And like, there's like inserts of this nylon on the seats, and the seats have like a cloth, like a really like texture ribbed cloth insert in them. Which I can't tell if it's the hoodie I'm wearing, which is brand new, or the material just doesn't breathe well. I've been like cranking the AC in this thing to stay cool. I've been running hot.
It's not hot outside.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
But yeah, like I think it's nice. It's well laid out. It drives well. It's surprisingly firm, like noticeably firmer than the CX-30 I had last week. That's a meaningful point of differentiation.
Relative to the CX-30. I know we talked about this last week and that the 6-speed auto in that thing got a little tripped up. I feel that more in this week's CX-50 than the CX-30.
Agreed.
Yeah, I felt that as well. Like, it's one of the things where I was just like, oh, Mazda, like, back to this 6-speed auto. Like, do something.
Like, I like this transmission.
Me too.
And I think it's well suited to the turbo.
Yep. It works in almost every other Mazda except for maybe perhaps this CX-50 with the base engine.
Yeah, because it's working so hard to try and like make use of the little power it has to move this weight, and it's just like you're really stretching what it can do here.
It's too eager to downshift.
Too eager?
Too eager.
I felt like it hiccuped and then downshifted. Like, I felt like
maybe
it was just kind of... Yeah, although I was shocked that when you put it in like manual mode, like it actually responds surprisingly
It's really good
fast.
because it's still Mazda and they're good at like everything they try to do.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked at that. But yeah, I did feel like when you kind of stomp on it, it was kind of like, it took too long.
Mm-hmm. It might be that. Yeah,
it's like it's trying too hard to lean too much on the torque it doesn't have.
Yeah, and I think it just like we're obviously spoiled driving around all the newest stuff all the time. But you're just used to like much tighter gearing these days.
We're used to like 40-speed transmissions.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Just 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just feels like more widely spaced and but yeah, I think like reliability wise and stuff, this transmission has been around forever.
Bomb-proof
there's
now.
never heard of
Same
anything.
thing with the engine,
right? Yeah.
And I think like I'm doing like 9 per 100, about the same as I was in the CX-30, despite this being so much bigger.
Yeah.
Which I think, okay, so you all drove the CX-30 I had last week. So between that, which was like pretty decked,
okay,
versus this, which is bigger but pretty base, same powertrain, and they're like, I think within about $1,000, the same price of each other.
Really?
What'd you rather have?
I immediately think CX-50. I like its like slightly more grown up look.
It's definitely a lot more burly.
Yeah, I kind of just I really like the way I like Mazda's design language, period. But I feel like the CX-50 is a really nice sweet spot.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm just being very superficial.
That's like it is. No, but like that's what this is. Like, Nicholas.
I agree. I really want to. I really want to let. I like the idea of the overall package that the CX-30 offers, and maybe this is the red interior that's really, really, really wanting me to pick the CX-30.
It felt a lot nicer.
It did feel a lot nicer. But you do get a lot more for the money with the CX-30 and CX-50. And if the differences are just like, the slightly fancier interior trimmings, maybe a smaller overall footprint, it's kind of worth going for the more substantial, more practical option.
Yeah. Now,
especially for similar money.
Yeah. Now, if we're talking about the CX-30 with the turbo, that thing was cool. I really enjoyed
and
that one.
like to the CX-30's credit, one thing I noticed, like going back to Bath and these things, the CX-30 rides way better. Like way better. It just like drives a lot smoother, like a lot not softer, just smoother. It absorbs the road way better.
Well, Imran, you've also had both the 30 and the 50, both with the turbo engine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Ride-wise,
does that change your answer?
He didn't go back to back though. Like I was like, like 5 minutes one into the other. Like I just a straight swap.
Yeah.
And like first thing, like wow, the 50's a lot tighter.
I do remember the 50 being tighter, even in the turbo trims.
Yeah.
Not offensively so.
No, it's not harsh, but like where's the friend I was riding with was like, yo, the last one like glided. This doesn't.
Yeah, like I remember thinking that now that you say this, is that I was surprised at how like stiff-ish the CX-50 felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, not in a bad way. It was just like, oh, I didn't expect that in the
I kind of would expect it to go the other way.
Yeah.
But I think because the CX-30 is so much lighter.
Yeah.
That like it can be more gently sprung and more gently damped and still have excellent body control and work. Whereas the 50 is like a much bigger, heavier architecture.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I mean, in summation, Mazda makes good
Mazda makes
products.
Good cars. We like them.
Yeah.
And this is a good one. And we're actually like, I was pleased to see a base one because we never get to see base models of anything.
As we alluded to in the intros, like it's rare that we get a representation of like the trim levels regular people actually buy.
Yeah.
It's
and like all the Mazdas we drive are loaded, and they feel like luxury products, right? Like leather and French stitched and quilted, everything.
Yep.
Right? Whereas this isn't, but still nice, still quality, still good use of material, still drives well. Like it still hits all the right marks.
And that's kind of why I keep going back to like the Outback versus CX-50 Comparo in my mind, at least, because those were two relatively base-ish crossover-y things for like $40K.
Mm-hmm.
But just like, sorry, go ahead.
Like as capable as Subaru makes the Outback out to be, the CX-30, the CX-50 is just nicer.
Way nice. Like it feels like it's a different class. It's just a Subaru. Like, hey, I love their quirkiness. I've owned a Subaru before, but it's just their interiors are definitely not up to snuff compared to Mazda.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Subaru actually has a little more room. I think it's a little more room from what I recall.
Really?
So vaguely. I think it has like a little more it's longer, like it and it shows.
Okay, yeah.
It's a touch bigger, but like both the Outback and the CX-50 are bigger than the than like whatever
compact
or whatever brand siblings that you would cross shop them against.
And not to say the CX-50 is impractical. It's got lots of room and it's a nice vehicle. I think and there's a reason why there's so many around. Like Mazda knocked that out of the park. Like that little extra toughness into the styling over the CX-5 has been like so huge.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
totally. The CX-5 still exists though, right?
The CX-5 does still exist,
dude. They're so fucking everywhere. Clearly, like they're not cannibalizing sales because they're still fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
fair enough.
All right. Well, that takes us to the end of this week's episode. If you wish to follow along on our automotive misadventures, you can do so at doubleclutch.ca on socials. Nathan, Imran, thank you fellas for joining.
See you next week.
Thanks guys. Hi Mom. Bye.